Hi everyone, in today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 top visas for entrepreneurs. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Michael Ashoori, and I'm a US immigration lawyer based in Los Angeles, California. As a very quick intro, at our firm, we post a lot of immigration content to YouTube. So if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now. And without further ado, let's get started. So the reason why you're all here is to know the 5 top visas for entrepreneurs. We're going to start with the first one as the E2 visa. The E2 visa is an amazing option for entrepreneurs. And the way it works is that it allows somebody to invest in a business. They can either invest in a new business or invest in an existing business. And based on that investment, they get the authorization to live in the United States and to work for their business. Another benefit is that if you have a spouse, your spouse can even qualify for work authorization to work for any company. Now, the main focus of the E2 visa is the investment. The government wants to make sure that you've made a substantial investment in the business. What's substantial, you might be asking? There's no dollar amount that qualifies as a substantial investment. We typically recommend at least $100,000 or more, but investments for less than that have gotten approved in the past. A couple of other pointers about the E2 visa. It's a non-immigrant visa, so it doesn't directly lead to a green card, but you can continue to renew your E2 visa as long as the business continues to satisfy the E2 visa requirements. And another important point is that the E2 visa, while it doesn't directly convert to a green card, can be changed to an immigrant classification. You can go from E2 visa to a different kind of a classification that would qualify for a green card. And so that's a little bit about the E2 visa. Now let's move on to visa option number 2, which is the L1 visa. The L1 visa is also a very powerful option for entrepreneurs. And the way the L1 visa works is that it's for somebody who is working for a company outside of the United States to transfer to a related company in the United States. A couple of points about the L1 visa. The individual that's transferring to the United States company, they must have worked for the foreign company as either a manager or an executive or a specialized knowledge worker. They must have worked for 1 full-time year continuously full-time before transferring to the US company. Now, a couple of other pointers. When they transfer to the United States company, they have to be transferring to work as a manager or an executive or a specialized knowledge worker. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the two companies, the foreign company and the US company, have to be related. Specifically, they have to have something called a qualifying relationship. What's a qualifying relationship, you might ask? There's a few ways to qualify as a qualifying relationship. One is a parent-subsidiary relationship. Another one is a branch office. So if the foreign company has a branch office in the United States, and also an affiliate relationship would also qualify as a qualifying relationship. Another point that I'd like to mention about the L1 visa. So the reason why I suggest that it's a very powerful option for entrepreneurs is that if the US company is already established, then it can work. The person that's transferring as an L1 can transfer from the foreign company to the US company. But if there is no US company established, the L1 visa also allows for something called a new office L1. A new office L1 means that even if the business does not yet already exist in the United States, the person can set up a brand new business and get transferred to the United States to work for that business. Again, even if it's a brand new company. So that's the L1 visa. Now, visa option number 3 is the O1 visa. This is a little bit more out of left field, I would say. It's not typically thought of as a good visa for entrepreneurs, but I'll tell you a little bit about the O1 visa. The O1 visa is a visa for people with exceptional abilities, people with extraordinary abilities. There's many classifications of, there's many fields that qualify for O1. For example, if someone is an all-star athlete, if someone is a very good musician, if someone is an excellent physician, let's say, or an artist of some kind. There's all kinds of fields that qualify for an O1. But another field that qualifies for O1 is business. So if you can show that you've risen to the top of your field in business, then you could potentially consider the O1 visa to come and work in the United States. So that's number 3. Visa option number 4. By the way, I should mention that options 1, 2, and 3 are all non-immigrant visas, meaning that they're temporary and they're not an immigrant visa, which means lawful permanent residence, which means a green card. Now, visa option number 4 and 5 are going to both be immigrant visa options, meaning that they lead to a green card. So again, back to number 4, it's the EB5 visa. Many of you may have already heard about the EB5 visa. It's an immigrant investor visa. Basically, the way EB5 works is that you invest a large amount of money into a US business, and based on that large investment, you can qualify for a green card for you, your spouse, and your unmarried children under 21 years old. Now, EB5 has a lot of very specific rules to it, and I'm going to do my best to give you a good summary of the way it works. But basically, it works like this. The standard investment amount that you have to make to qualify for EB5 is $1.8 million. I know, it's a lot of money. It used to be less than that, but as of November of 2019, the investment amount went up. So now it's $1.8 million. That's the standard investment amount. However, there are special incentives if you invest in an area that is economically not as well off. So these areas are called targeted employment areas. They're areas that experience very high unemployment compared to other areas, and essentially the government wants to encourage investment in these areas. So if you choose to invest in a targeted employment area, you can qualify for an EB5 visa by investing half of the normal investment amount. So as I mentioned, the standard investment amount is 1.8 million, and the investment amount, if you're investing in a targeted employment area, is $900,000. So you get a major benefit of getting to invest half the standard amount. Now, another requirement for EB5 is that you must create 10 full-time jobs for US workers. Now, 10 jobs may sound overwhelming. However, it's important to know that the 10 full-time jobs do not need to be created immediately. The way EB5 works is that you first get approved for a conditional green card. It's a 2-year green card. After you get approved for the 2-year green card, you can come to the United States and work for your business. Once you come to the United States on your conditional green card, during those 2 years that your conditional green card is valid, that's the period of time that you're required to generate those 10 jobs. So from the time you apply for an EB5 visa to the time that you actually have to create the jobs is quite a long span of time. So yeah, that's I know it's a lot of information so far just about the EB5 visa. Again, EB5 is one of the most confusing areas of immigration law. So there's many lawyers that won't even touch it. If you have any questions about EB5, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. Okay, so far we've covered 4 visa options for entrepreneurs, and now we're going to go to option number 5, which is the EB1C visa. EB1C is very similar to L1. L1, what we talked about way back in option number 2, where it's that special visa where somebody from a foreign company can transfer to a related US company. EB1C is very similar to that, except again, it's an immigrant visa, so it leads to a green card. Now, I don't know if you recall way back when we were talking about the L1 visa, but essentially the person had to work for the foreign company as either a manager or executive or specialized knowledge worker. And they had to come to the United States to work as a manager or executive or specialized knowledge worker. Now, that was L1. With EB1C, the person that's coming to work for the US company has to have worked as either a manager or an executive. There is no specialized knowledge ability for EB1C. Also, when they come to the United States, they can similarly only work as a manager or executive. There is no specialized knowledge carve-out. Another important difference between the L1 and the EB1C is that for EB1C, there is no new office allowance. So if you recall with L1s, one of the unique benefits of L1 is that it allows somebody to, if there is no US business established, the person can come to the United States and establish a US business. Sorry, they can establish a US business and then apply for the L1 on a brand new company. That's not how it works for EB1C. For EB1C, the US business must have been operational for at least 1 year prior to applying for the EB1C visa. So that's a very important difference between the L1 and the EB1C. However, a lot of people come to the United States initially on an L1 visa, and they convert their L1 visa to an EB1C visa once the company has been operational for 1 year. So there you have it, 5 visas for entrepreneurs. I hope you guys found this information super useful and super valuable. If you have any questions, again, put them in the comments below. I would be happy to answer you. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. And if you know anybody that would have any interest in this information, go ahead and share this video with them. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.